Maya, why is today's show so very, very cool?
Because Katherine Heigl is calling in.
Oh my
Yay!
gosh,
Thanks,
we are so
guys.
excited about that. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Maya, take it away, girl.
So, first of all, I just want to say how excited I am to be talking to you right now, and I still can't really believe this is actually happening.
Oh my gosh, you're the sweetest. Well, thank you. I'm quite thrilled to be talking to you.
Thank you. So my first question for you is, what inspired you to get into the entertainment industry?
So it's a long and windy road, but it started when I was about 9 years old, and I started doing some children's modeling. I grew up in Connecticut, and it was just about a 45-minute train ride into New York. And there was lots of that sort of thing happening in the city. So my mom agreed to let me give it a go. And in the children's modeling world, it kind of just tends to bleed into everything, commercials or TV work or film work. And my modeling agent represented me for all of that. And it kind of just rolled, honestly. It wasn't something that I or my family had anything to do with. It was sort of just kind of grace that I found my path at such a young age.
Oh, cool. So you played Michelle in the thriller Fear of Rain, and
Yes.
My family and I just watched that a couple nights ago, and we loved it.
Good.
It is my new favorite thriller.
Awesome.
What drew you to this project?
I think that the story, when I read the script, I thought the story was really, really just well done. It was taking a look at mental illness from the perspective of the patient. And reading it is very different than watching it. When I watched the movie, it took me a while to actually watch it because the trailer scared me so much. And I'm not typically a scary movie kind of person. I don't seek them out like my niece does. And they scared me. So when I finally watched it, I was like, wow, they did such a beautiful job putting this together. But taking it from the perspective of Rain and showing an audience what that must in some way feel like and be like to live with something so debilitating and so difficult in your life, and having to have the courage every day to face that. I thought they did a really good job, because I feel in the mental illness arena that there needs to be more empathy among all of us in society to instead of being so like freaked out by it or scared of it, to understand that this is a burden that this person has to live with the rest of their life, and maybe we can show them a little empathy.
Yeah. So you've been in and have guest starred in so many amazing things. Have you had a favorite project or character you've played?
Oh, that's so tough. I have a really terrible long-term memory. So it's hard for me to remember everything or even what the experience was. But I always kind of go back to 27 Dresses. I think there was something about the experience that stuck with me. It was so much fun to film. And I was working with some of the most hilarious on and off camera actors and crew and director. I mean, we just had a lot of fun. And on top of that, I really loved how the movie came out. I thought it was entertaining and kind of hit all the beats that those kind of movies I feel should hit. And for a long time, and probably still, those are my favorite kind of movies. I love a good romantic comedy.
Yeah. So you played Samantha Wheeler in the show Suits. What was your favorite part about working on that show?
That was such a crazy experience for me, because I came to it as a fan of the show. So my first day on set was this surreal experience of seeing the actual offices of these characters that I loved and was a big fan of before I ever got cast in the role. So it was kind of surreal at first. And I had to I was nervous for the first time in a long time. I was nervous, which was actually kind of a good feeling. It reminded me that I'm not dead inside, and that I still love what I do. But it was to work with like Harvey and Lewis, Donna, like it was just crazy. And then at the very end for me, when I got to work with Patrick Adams, and because I didn't think I was going to have that opportunity to get to work with that character, was like just the cherry on top. It was a pretty great experience. And my favorite part was probably the clothes.
Cool. Yeah. So you also play Tully Hart in Firefly Lane. Could you relate to Tully in any way?
Oh, Tully's tough. I was kind of scared of playing Tully actually, because she kind of has this reckless courage in a way, and she's not a people pleaser. She doesn't try to make everybody happy or comfortable. She does what she wants. She kind of goes after what she wants, no matter what the cost. I don't relate to those things. I feel like I've spent my whole life being sort of very much the stereotypical female people pleaser. But it was part of why I wanted to play her, because I was kind of scared of it. And I wanted that challenge, and I wanted that feeling in my stomach of butterflies and nerves. Especially I've been doing this now for 30 something years. So it can get a little, like I know the ropes too well or something. And this was a great opportunity for me to step a little outside of my comfort zone. But the things I think I relate to Tully, I mean, I certainly relate to her loyalty, and I relate to her, some of the isolation of celebrity.
Yeah. So do you have any fun stories or memories from filming?
Firefly Lane?
Yeah.
Firefly Lane was another really, really fun experience, because again, I was surrounded by all these really great people. And I think in any work environment, when the people that you're spending your work hours with, which can tend to be very, very long hours in filmmaking, it's such a blessing when they're actually really cool and fun and nice to be around and kind. And Sarah Chalk is like probably one of the coolest, kindest, most charming, most effortlessly decent people I've met. And aside from my husband, he's actually like that too. And she made it so fun and easy. And that was a tough one, because we had to be best friends. I mean, the whole story is about these two girls who have loved each other fiercely and loyally for 30 years. So if we didn't like each other, that would have been complicated. I mean, you can pull it off, but it's not as near as much fun. So the whole experience was really fun. Sarah loves to, she's a fantastic little break dancer. She will go into full splits like anywhere, and she can rap, and she tells the most amazing stories. Like it's like a one-woman show on Broadway. It's like having a front row seat to a one-woman show on Broadway. It's awesome.
Wow, that's so cool. So do you have any upcoming projects?
Well, I have my fingers very, very crossed that we get a second season for Firefly Lane. And hopefully I'll know that. I don't know. I'm hoping in the next week or two. They really like to drag these things out just to torture us, I guess. And then I'm hoping to be working on a film in Australia in June, which I'm also super excited about. It's been a long, this is the first time I've had this kind of time off, and my whole career. At once when my mother was sick when I was 16, and I had a year off of work then, but this is the first time I've had a year off since. And, it's been incredible in so many ways, but I am definitely ready to go back to work.
Yeah. My family and I are also hoping for a second season of Firefly Lane. We watched the first season in 3 days.
Yay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's you guys that are going to get us a second season, I'm sure of it.
So, I know that you do a lot of charity work. How do you decide what causes you will give your time to?
That is a really great question. Because that's a tough one, I think, for a lot of people, because you want to give your attention to every cause that matters, and pretty much all of them do. So it's really hard to narrow in on something and kind of focus on that, but it's necessary, because if you spread yourself too thin, you're really not doing, you're not really helping as much as you could. So for me, I ultimately chose my overall kind of theme for me is the voiceless and the innocent. So for me, that's animals and that's children and that's women. So those are the directions I tend to go.
Yeah. Is there a line from a movie, book, or song that's always stuck with you and inspires you?
Wow, that's another great question. Recently, well, Sarah told me, because it was getting kind of bleak for everybody during this pandemic and being stuck at home, and it's hard on the kids and it's hard on the parents and it's hard on our parents who we can't see. So she started playing every morning U2's "It's a Beautiful Day." So I've started doing that, and it's really helping me. And it's because it gets stuck in your head inevitably, and then you find yourself throughout the day just, "It's a beautiful day," and then you just kind of feel a little bit better, at least.
Yeah. So, what TV show character would be the most fun to hang out with for the weekend?
Ooh, what TV show character? Oh, Ted Lasso, for sure. Ted would be so fun to hang out with. And also just really make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard so much about that show, but my family and I all want to see it, but we can't watch it because we don't have the streaming service it's on. So
the Apple.
yeah,
That's right.
so we decided, we were like, okay, over spring break, we're just not gonna do anything, and we're gonna get a free trial and just watch all of it. So,
awesome. Perfect. They're really only, I think they're 20-minute episodes. So you could plow through all, I think there's 10. You could do it in a night.
yeah.
Just take advantage of that free trial.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you like to do in your spare time?
There's a lot that I like to do. So I have kind of overwhelmed myself this pandemic with hobbies, but I love to knit. I haven't been doing as much of that, actually. I really have gotten into art. I love to draw and paint, and I love art supplies. And I just recently was able to give myself an art studio sort of 10 feet off the property, or away from the house, so that I had my own space, because my kids get into all my art supplies and ruin them. So I can hide in there for, an afternoon while they're at school. I love herbology. I'm really into, I'm kind of a kitchen witch. So I like to mix potions and make tonics and just steep seeds and nuts and things. It's avant-garde, I guess.
Cool. Yeah. So what song would be on the soundtrack to your life?
In my 20s, it was Queen and David Bowie's "Under Pressure." That was my 20s. And then in my 30s, it was "Heavenly Days." Oh, Heavenly Day, from Patty Griffin. And that was my wedding song. And then now in my 40s, I would say it's my husband's song, "Making Memories," "Busy Making Memories."
Cool. Yeah. I constantly have I mean, my family and I, like, we constantly listen to music, and when I'm in charge of putting on music, it's always two singers. It's always Ben Platt and Asher Angel, and, like, those are the only songs that are playing. And
Wait, I need to write that down. Are these like young artists that I don't know because I'm not hip?
well, Ben Platt was in Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
love him. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then Asher Angel was in one of my favorite movies, Shazam. So
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, Shazam is something we can watch as a family, isn't it? Or is it inappropriate for small children?
yeah, no, I think it's like PG-13, I think.
Yeah,
So,
we can get away with it.
yeah, I was gonna say it's not that bad. There's a couple like words in it, but it's nothing terrible.
They've heard a few things in their life, so it should be okay. We're gonna watch that. I want to see that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, yeah, that's like one of the movies I just have on all the time. Like when I just need to like forget about everything, or like I'm having a bad day and I just need to have something to lift my spirits, like that's my go-to movie. So
That's a really smart thing to do. And it's something that we should all be doing more regularly. But I learned that trick as well from my mother, who went through cancer when I was 16. So I don't remember how old my mother was, but she found that finding moments of levity was to just take your head out of whatever is going on. It can be anything as intense as dealing with a cancer diagnosis to, having to pick up dog poop once again from your clean rug. That levity helps.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember when when Shazam first came out, I remember it was like the one day after school, my family and I just went and saw that movie. I was like, this is exactly what I needed to watch after a day at school. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel the same way after a day at work sometimes. But I also think that feeling that you had that day is why I like doing what I do. Because I love stories and I certainly love humor. I'm one of those people who just loves to laugh. So I like to surround myself with funny people and watch funny things. And I think that that's what is so impactful about film and television and books and is that you're inspiring somebody or making somebody laugh or just helping them, step out of their own life for a day and into the shoes of somebody else and be entertained. And I've always like that. I watch everything. I've heard actors who don't like watch film, don't watch movies or TV shows, or that's not me. I love entertainment and I love the entertainment world. And I love that that's what it can do. It can just decompress a day.
yeah. Yeah. And especially like over this pandemic, like I know for everybody, that's kind of like what has been helping them, like shows and movies and all this stuff. And so,
Yeah, it's like a little escape from your reality. If you can't get out of the house and escape, just have a different change of scene for an evening, even for dinner or drinks or anything, it's like at least we have our TVs.
My last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Oh, that's tough. There's a lot of really, really good people in the world who do really, really good things. I kind of always go back to my mother, probably because she's the most influential in my life. But I watched my mother as, just growing up, watched her survive a lot of things that for a lot of people would have completely derailed their lives. When my brother died, and then when she got diagnosed with cancer, and then when my parents split up, and there were a lot of things that could have made a person bitter and angry and cynical. But my mother is a joy maker. Like, she just seeks joy, feels joy, and still feels like life is a joyful experience despite pain and tragedy and illness and fear and everything else. That at the end of the day, there's joy. So I think that's pretty remarkable. I try to do that. But it's just weirdly innately in her. And I find very admirable.
Yeah. My mom is just the same way. Like, we just always, like, my mom and my sister and I, we just always have the best time together. And because it's like so much happens in like people's lives that like you can either choose to just kind of, if it's something bad, just kind of let it just like take over everything, or like find humor and joy and stuff. And so my family and I always joke that we have a very warped sense of humor because of everything that's happened. So a lot of the times we're like crying from laughing so hard, and like one of us will say something, and before, when we could actually see people, the people we were with would just be like looking at us like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's been my whole life. Yeah, my mother has a very dark sense of humor. So we kind of all do. And I feel that way about my sister and mom too, where it's just, these are the people that kind of know you the best and you can be your most true self with. So you can make those really inappropriate jokes and they're going to laugh where somebody else is going to think you're being really inappropriate.
Yeah, a lot of the conversations we have were like, if anybody heard us right now, this would not be good.
Exactly. Yep. We've got a lot of those going on too. I love those kind of conversations.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome, Miss Maya.
Well, sorry, what?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said something. That was, thank you. That was my last question. So thank you so much for calling in. I still can't believe this is happening right now.
Oh, you are the sweetest. Well, I thank you for asking me. I just am very grateful to be thought of, and I'm very grateful you watched the show. And yeah, that's why I do it, Maya. I do it because I want people like you and everybody else to just feel something. Mostly, I just want them to laugh, but I also want them to feel less alone, or to feel related to, or like they understand this person or this experience. And I think that's what stories do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You've brought us so much joy through your movies, through your TV, and then, of course, today. We appreciate it. If you're ever in Colorado, you have an open invitation to come to Children's Hospital Colorado. I'm sure so many patients would love to see you.
Awesome. I want to host the radio show.
Well, Maya is an expert. I want to do
what you're doing for a minute. That would be fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You have a great day. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, I was telling everybody that I was talking to you today. So I was like, I can't believe this is actually going to happen.
Oh, girl, you're going to get bigger people than me on this show. Don't you worry about it.
She's almost
this
on
will
interview
just be one
number.
day you'll be like, oh, yeah. Like, yeah, that's right. Katherine Heigl was on. Yeah. But since then, we've had President Obama. We've had, we'll go on and on.
She's almost on interview 200. So it's pretty impressive.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for having me.
All right. Take care.
Have an
Bye-bye.
awesome day. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye, honey.